people in. Go for it. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you there, Mark. Nice to see you, John and Justin. Welcome. It's good to have you here at this beautiful From Loneliness to Finding Love webinar. I can see Max is also joining us. We've got a couple more in the waiting room. We've got Oscar and Gary coming in. I'm super excited and pumped up for the next 90 minutes that we're going to be here together, and I really do value all of your time, and I've got a lot to kind of cover here today, so I can give you all as much value as I possibly can in 90 minutes. So just want to let you know that I might be moving at a fast pace today. I just want to make sure that that's okay with everybody. So if you can put your hand up and say it's okay if I move fast, just so that I can give you all I can in the 90 minutes. And also allow, some time at the end for some Q&A. So let's just see if we can let the rest of these people in. My beautiful assistant, Arnell, is also here joining us today. So in the background, she's going to make sure that everyone's good and sorted out so that I can focus on delivering. So it's great to have you here, Arnell, helping out in the background. So we'll sort that out there. And I'm just going to start sharing my screen here, so that I can get straight into what we're going to be jumping into today. So as you can see, as you've spoken to me or you've seen online, you're coming here to the From Loneliness to Finding Love webinar. And I know we've got people from all over the world. We've got some people from Australia. We've got people from the US, Canada. And I think there's some people joining us from Europe, even though it's going to be very early on in the morning. So I'm super appreciative and super blessed to be here, helping you and coaching you today, so that we can ultimately all get what we really want in life, which is to find a long-term loving relationship, right? So let's kind of jump into what we're going to cover today, as I said, because I'm going to be moving fast. So really just thought I'll jump in and start with, what are the intentions that I have for you guys today? So the intentions are, I want to show you how to find that healthy, happy, passionate, loving relationship for you as a gay man, right? Now, I'm not sure about your background as much. I know we've chatted and I've asked you some questions and you shared a bit with me, but you might be coming from a completely different background to any of the other people here. So, it's all about figuring out how can we work on where you're at in your life, on your journey, and get you what you want so that you can have that relationship. I want to help you to become a master of dating. Now, I'm sure probably if you were like me in the past, you've been on dates and just don't know what to say, don't know how to act, don't even know how to sometimes get to the date. That was me in the past. So I want to help you to become a master of dating, because for us to find a partner, we're going to have to start dating. We have to get out there and have more dates. So, understanding what we need to put in our online profile, how we need to present ourselves to new people is a great way for us to be able to learn how to master dating and find that long-term relationship that we're looking for. I also want to connect you to a supportive gay community who are on the same journey as you are, who want what you want, right? Now, sometimes it can feel very lonely trying to find a partner. It can feel very lonely and isolating, going through the online world, feeling like, why am I not getting what everyone else seems to have, a relationship? So connecting you to a community of people who are on that same path, on the same journey, really looking for love, is important for me to do, because it also makes us feel not so lonely. And it also helps us feel camaraderie when, going into my group coachings or my online programs and seeing the guys cheer on when guys go on dates, when guys find their partners, right? It's nice to see that support that we have for other gay men, because I know that sometimes in the gay community, it can really feel a little bit like maybe, not so supportive. Depending on where you are in the world, you might put your hand up and tell me if you sometimes felt a little bit unsupported by the gay community. I can tell you that was me, right? I felt unsupported by the gay community as well. So, so if you're someone who's felt like, wait, we're here today to connect you to like I said, supportive gay community who, like I said, want what you want. I'm also here to find my ideal clients, right? Some of you guys are going to come here today, and this will be your first step along a pathway. So come here to see some people who really want to take the next step as well to finding love and mastering dating and ultimately get your relationships. I know that, some of the people here have been to some of my masterclasses before. Some of the people here have actually been on some of my online programs before, right? And some of you guys have had great results and you've found someone that you've dated for maybe a long time, and then maybe it's just not the right person, and you've come back to say, hey, look, you know what? I've got to continue the journey. Wherever you're at, it's great. And like I said, some of you might want to take that next step, some of you won't. It's all good either way. But I'm here to find some of you guys who really want to take that step as well. And I'm here to make it fun and informative, right? Finding a relationship can sometimes be really serious, and we can take everything so seriously. I want to, lighten it up a bit, have some fun. So if I joke around a bit, just know that that's me trying to show my personality, which is what I want you to connect to as well. And also, it's really my promise to show you guys a super clear path for success in finding long-lasting love. So those are the intentions that I have coming into what we're going to cover today. So let's jump into the next part of it here and talk a little bit about what are some of the steps to success that I have for it. So number one is free relationship masterclass. This is where you guys are at right now. You've come to a webinar, a masterclass, whatever it is that you've come to today. Like I said, it's a webinar. It's a free opportunity for you to get some growth, get some learning, and take a step further forward towards your ultimate goal of having a long-term relationship. And as you can see down here, there's a few other steps that some of my clients take. I've got an amazing online love attraction program, which is a super easy, super casual online program that's being designed specifically for gay men to help them create that relationship they want to have, do the work that's needed to attract the right person, whether that's to do with our online dating profile, whether it's about understanding better about having relationships and the things that, we struggle with as gay men. It's been completely designed for gay men. So that's usually the next step that people take. And then ultimately, I run a full day relationship summit. So people come with me to 8-9 hours and we go deep. We knock out some of the things that really hold us back as gay men so that we can create that relationship. We get to really go deep and go, what is it that I'm really, really, really looking for from a relationship? Because sometimes we think we know what we want, but in fact, we're not actually really super clear on it. So that's what that summit will do, is we're going to get there and we're going to become ready to fully have the relationship that we deserve as well. And then ultimately people come down, work with me on a 6-month basis, whether it's a group program or a combination of one-on-one and group program. Like I said, people choose the level of commitment that they want to take in coming and joining this. So these are just some of the steps that you might see fit for you down the track. But like I said, no pressure. This is just a little bit of understanding about me and how I help so many gay men in this community, because I've helped, hundreds of gay men over the last 2 years to actually find love and create relationships for themselves. So again, if for all you guys who are here today, there's something big and exciting that I have for everyone who attends. So I really want you to stick around to the end so that I can share with you that super exciting new thing that I have available to you guys as well. So again, what's going to be planned for today's webinar? So I'm just going to share a little bit about my journey, my story, so that you can understand why I am an expert in relationship coaching for gay men, because I'm sure some of you want to be aware of that. Like, why am I here to listen to you, Cristiano? Like, how can you help me, right? I'm sure some of you guys are here probably curious about that. So I want to share a bit about my journey and show you why I've helped so many gay men and done it for myself as well. I also want to share with you some of the main reasons why we as gay men fail in finding long-lasting love. There's such, we might think of some of the easy ones, but there's a lot of deeper seated stuff that happens in the experience of the gay man that actually holds us back in finding long-lasting love. And so I really want to share that with you so you can start to, open your mind to go, maybe that's me, maybe that's me. And then the great thing about that is we cover that with the 5 foundations to create a healthy, happy, passionate relationship. So I'm going to teach you what are the 5 key things that you need to focus on and understand if you want to create that relationship in your life. And again, like I said, I'm going to share a brand new, amazing opportunity for you guys. That's something I'm super excited about, that I think you'll be super excited about as well. And then the great thing is that right at the end, we're going to have an opportunity for you guys to ask me questions directly, so that, what are some of the burning questions you either got from today, or maybe some of the questions that you've been pondering over for the last couple of months or couple of years. Let me help you on that journey as well. So that's what we're going to cover in the webinar today. And as I told you guys, I know some new people are coming through. I'm going to be moving fast. We've got 90 minutes. I've got so much to share with you. So if I move fast, just know that it's because I really just want to add so much value to you guys today. So let's jump into it. So I just want you to start to ponder, like, you came here, each of you came here for a different reason. That might be very similar. Again, long-term goal is to have a long-term relationship. But I want you to tell me, what is it that you are trying to get from this Looking for Love webinar? From loneliness to finding love. What is it that you came here for? What is it deep down inside of you that said, hey, look, I should turn up for 90 minutes and check out this Cristiano guy and see what he has to offer, because maybe, he can help me in some way. I would love to know what that is for you. And feel free to utilize the chat screen here today, guys, because, if you want to put some of your thoughts down here, I love seeing you guys come up with what comes through your mind as you go. So feel free to use the chat screen. You can write whatever you like, share whatever you like as I'm going. You can answer these questions for it, or you can do them personally. But sometimes when we put them out there to the universe, we get more clarity on it as well. And it's good because I can then, share some of my perspective on what you guys are adding in here as well. So when you know what it is that you have come here for, I want you to also decide for yourself, how committed on a scale of 1 to 10 are you in achieving that goal? So if your goal is to, my goal is I want to find a long-term relationship. I'm really looking for love, and I really want to move away from loneliness, and I'm committed. And I say I'm committed on let's just say 7 out of 10, right? Think about it like this. If you're only 7 out of 10 committed, imagine dating, like going on the dating scene, and you go out to someone and he goes, I feel like I'm a 7 out of 10 in commitment to a relationship. Do you want to date someone who's only 7 out of 10 committed to finding love or creating happiness or creating a great relationship? Or would you say, you know what, I'm looking for a 9 or a 10. I want someone who's more committed than 7. So I just want you to think about your commitment levels. And if they're not so high, maybe that's part of the reason why you're here today, because maybe you haven't been getting the results because you're not as committed as you really need to be. Just think about that as we go through today as well. All right. Now, like I said, we're all coming here from different backgrounds. So I really want to check in with you guys. Are you someone who's been single your entire life? Have you ever had relationships in the past? Or maybe you've not. Maybe you've struggled and not understood why I'm constantly single, why I can't find someone to date me. Why is it that I'm, like I said, not in a relationship or can't find one? That was me. I spent over 35 years of my life completely single, really only ever having really short-term things, never ever going anywhere. You might be like that as well. Now, you also might be someone who's only ever had really short-term relationships. Maybe you've dated someone, it's been 1, 2, 3 months, but never gone into having a long-term relationship at all, right? That could be you as well. And like I said, if that's you, no shame here in the game. This is where we all get to at times, right? Like I said, it's hard out there, especially for gay men to find long-term love. So if that's you, that's you. Have you been stuck going on dates with the wrong kinds of people and they never go anywhere? Maybe you do go on dates and you keep finding someone that is a certain type. You go, why am I dating this kind of a person? Maybe it's that they're always someone who's needy. Maybe that's that they're always someone who's, self-deprecating. Maybe it's always that there's someone who's depressed, right? If that's you, again, this is great because we're here to understand why that happens and how we can change it as well. You also might be someone who's been in toxic or unhealthy relationships in the past. You might have had abusive relationships. You might have had toxic relationships. You might have had unhealthy relationships. And that might be stemming from, past relationships with your family, right? Maybe you've had some toxicity in those relationships that led you down those paths, right? Whatever has happened, yeah, that's where some of you could be here, right? Toxic relationships. Well, people in the gay community are more likely to have toxic relationships, unfortunately. It's unfortunately part of, the highest statistic in our community. Now, you also might have noticed that you're dating the same kinds of men. Like I said, we talked about earlier, like why is it that I keep seeing this kind of person? Why do I keep dating that kind of person? Or why do they always end up that way? I know that from in the past, I've had many of my clients who say, I keep dating someone, and after 6 months or a year, I find out that they're an alcoholic or something, right? And they keep seeing that same pattern, right? Now, I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying that pattern that many of my clients have seen in the past, right? And they don't realize it's 6 months or a year down the track, right? Because sometimes maybe we don't always want to see the truth, right? We don't want to see it, right? Because that means this isn't going to work out or whatever, right? And that's hard. So that's maybe where you are as well. Now, have you been in a long-term relationship and it has lost its spark? That could be you as well. You might have, I've had many of my clients come to me who've been in relationships for over 10 years, and they're coming to me going, I think it's over. I think I need to learn how to get away from this relationship. And we've been able to help them reignite all the flames and the spark so that they can get back together with a partner. Or I've also really helped people who have got to the end of their tether with someone to be able to leave in a graceful way and then, heal and get back out there and find the person that they're looking for. Again, whatever pathway there is, that's right for you, it's right for you. And I don't judge anyone here because, like I said, we all come from many different backgrounds, we have different circumstances, and whatever we choose is our choice. And that's the thing here. All today is, you chose to be here, and I'm choosing to bring the best out of what I can to share with you as well. And finally, have you ever heard from your friends or family or people around you, you'll find love when you least expect it, or, oh, why are you single? Or, oh, if only you weren't gay, right? It's hard as a single person to hear some of those things, especially when you've been trying to find love and you just keep making you feel like, when someone asks you and you go to a family function, why are you single? It makes you feel a little bit, I mean, for me personally, it used to make me feel, really triggered and really upset and make me feel more lonely than I did before because, of course, if we are single men looking for love and we can't find it and we don't know why, we start to think, is there something wrong with us? And I'm here to tell you that no, there isn't anything wrong with you. It's just maybe we don't know the right strategy to really get what we want to have out of relationships. So that's what I wanted to check in and see, is this you? Let me jump in and kind of share a bit about myself so that you can understand, a bit more about me. Now, probably much like many of you guys here, when I was in school, I got severely bullied. I was bullied every single day, right? Severely bullied from groups of people, one-on-one, and it was a really difficult time for me. Now, 40 to 50% of gay men will get bullied in either school, at home, or, in the workplace, right? So that's a lot of us, so there's, 10, 20 people here, half of us probably have experienced that, or maybe more of us, because maybe that's why we're here. We've been through some stuff and we've struggled with it. Now, because I got bullied so much, that led to me dealing with social anxiety. It led to me dealing with depression, and ultimately led to me also having suicidal thoughts because I had zero friends. I was afraid to kind of leave the house at times. I was afraid to go to school, to the point where if I was, 18, 19 years of age, I needed to go to the doctor. I had to get my mum to come with me. Now you might think, oh God, a 19-year-old needs his mummy, but that's the level of anxiety that I used to have. I was so afraid. I had, like I said, no friends, and going out in public made me feel very vulnerable and afraid. So I had to, like I said, get support from that. So dealing with this anxiety, dealing with the depression, and then ultimately suicidal thoughts, I struggled. I struggled. And, I was really struggling with my identity. I was not out, but, I was quite clearly, it was, to a lot of people that I was, what people would call as gay, right? I was gay acting or whatever. And so, like I said, I would hide away, not wanting to be around anyone because I was trying to hide who I was. And that went on for quite a few years. So moved away from school, got out of the bullying at school, but went into the workplace. And the bullying continued. I got bullied by multiple different managers. I got pushed up against walls. I got called all the names under the sun. And it really wasn't a good time for me. And so, like I said, I got to a point where, suicide was an option. And before I decided to do it, I said, look, let's just go and figure out and see if, you know, I can at least go around some gay people and understand what it is. Because before, really, I'd never met a single gay person in my life before that. So I was going through this whole internal battle, feeling like everything was wrong. Because at that point, everything on TV, when it came to gay people, was not a very good representation of a happy life, right? You would see gay people getting bashed, or you'd see gay people, on TV shows like CSI getting murdered, and you start to think maybe like I don't want this kind of a life, right? So it was a difficult time for me, but I decided that I needed to go at least explore this before I made that decision. And so luckily I went down to Sydney after really, taking a lot of time to really build myself up because, it was very causing a lot of anxiety. But I knew I had to give it a go. And I went down and I went to the big city of Sydney where there was a big gay scene. Well, obviously there still is. And I got caught up into the clubs and the party scene. And I started to see so many gay people around me looking like they were having the time of their life. And obviously when you're in a nightclub, drinking and partying and taking drugs, you probably feel like you're having the time of your life. So me having that representation, this is what I thought the life for a gay person was. So I started to go out more and more, started to make friends, started to have what I would call a false sense of confidence now looking back, because I was drinking, I was getting into the partying. So that would give me the courage and the confidence. And I thought I was a confident person. But when I would come home and I would be alone, I still had the loneliness. I still had the depression. I still had the anxiety. And so I started to go out more and more every week, multiple times, in the hopes that I would maybe start meeting someone. Maybe I'd find someone to date. And I did that. I went over and over and over, got caught up in drinking, got caught up in the party scene for over 15 years, trying to find relationships that way. So I spent probably, over $200,000 over those years, probably going out every weekend, trying to make sure I looked good, having a nice outfit, getting my hair done, in hopes that I'd meet someone. And all I would ever do is meet someone and have a casual fling, right? Maybe I would see them once or twice, but it would never lead anywhere. And I started to think, what's wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? Why don't people like me? Why don't people love me? Why do I have a problem with this? Why do I have to not find someone who sees me for who I am? And that really ate at me. But I would never tell anyone because, again, I wanted to have this wall up of that I was confident, that I had, courage, that I was, this person. But I ultimately became a people pleaser because I wanted people to like me. I wanted people to love me. I was pleasing everybody else. I would say yes to everybody else, but ultimately I was saying no to myself. And I struggled, like I said, continuously trying to do the same thing over and over again, every week, and just ultimately not getting the results. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever heard the saying that they say, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, if that's the case, you might as well lock me up and call me clinically insane, because I did that for 15 years, just trying and trying and trying. So I spent $200,000, like I said, in money, like I said, going out every weekend, drinking this and that, ultimately in the hopes of trying to find love, unresourcefully trying to find relationships. Now, who here's probably gone out unresourcefully doing things to try to find a relationship, spending money on this or that, whether it's, online apps, whether it's, meetups, these things like that, but ultimately not gotten a result from it. That was me. Now, that went on and on and on. And we got to COVID a couple of years ago, right? 2.5 years ago at the beginning of COVID. And obviously at that stage, couldn't go out anymore. And I was at home alone a lot because I lived alone. And I was at it was at the my rock bottom moments, really, because I was drinking still, heavily, couldn't be around anyone. And I started to have to take a long look at myself and say, oh my God, like, why am I continuing to do the same things over and not getting these results? Why am I so unhappy? Why do I keep searching for other people to make me happy? Like, if I'm not going to find someone, I really need to start today trying to just find happiness and at least try to have some peace instead of always hoping that I'm going to find someone but not getting that result. So I had to take myself away from everything. I decided that I'm not going to go on any of these apps anymore. I'm going to focus on, getting healthy. I'm going to focus on being, congruent and finding my peace and really finding my way in the world. Because before that, I followed, the path of, many gay men. I jumped into the corporate world and, pushed myself to be successful and perfect, right? And I moved my way up the corporate ladder and, I had a team of 300 people that I was looking after. And, all of them, I was confident, I was courageous, I was all of these things. But like I said, deep down, I didn't feel any of that, right? And so I had to go on a journey to step away and follow my dreams because I wanted to get into coaching for many years. I'd been coaching all of my team for, like I said, 15 years in corporate, but I'd never gone out and done the things that I really wanted to do, which was help gay men. Help gay men because I knew how hard it was for me. And when I started to work on myself, and like I said, let go of the addictions, get myself healthy, and really work on the reasons why I was unhappy and lonely and depressed and anxious and work through that. I went through, all of these different personal development courses, but all the ones that I wanted to do for so many years. And I spent time and money and energy doing that. I spent probably $200,000 doing all of Tony Robbins, all of Brendan Burchard, all of Grant Cardone, all of anything that I could get my hands on, because I knew that if I could learn all this stuff that I've been wanting to learn, I could then apply it to my life, see results, and then, like I said, be confident enough to open my business and then, ultimately get help in creating a business and helping so many gay men. Because like I said, to me, I believe that when you learn something, it's your mission to share it sometimes. And when I learned all this stuff, it was my mission to say, look, how do I help so many people in the gay community? Because although I went and spent all that money and did all these courses, there wasn't anything that was targeted specifically to gay men. I was always probably one of the only gay men in the room. So again, there was a part of me that felt isolated in a way because I didn't have many people that were like me. So I decided that, you know what, if I can't find a space, why don't I create a space? Which ultimately led to me, like I said, starting my business and helping so many gay men through online programs, through boot camp, through summit, through group coaching, through one-on-one coaching, whatever was available, so I could create a space and a community for gay men to be able to be themselves and learn and grow and understand in a safe environment that feels good for them. So that was my journey. And it led to so many different things. Like I said, I changed my entire life. I moved away from Sydney to Bali in the middle of the pandemic when it was crazy to do so, because I knew that I needed to get away and I needed to make some changes, right? And like I said, I've been out of the dating scene for over a year prior to all of that. I changed my career, left corporate, done all of those things, had my business set up, and came to Bali. And I decided that I would come and start dating again. And within only just over a month of me dating again, I met my partner. And I knew very quickly that this was different, right? Because when I was going online dating, I wasn't coming from a place of loneliness. I wasn't coming from a place of anxiety or depression. I was actually there, let's go online and just meet some people and not have all these expectations that, oh, if I talk to this person, hopefully this will be the one. Let's hope this is the one. I don't know if anyone's like me. Have you been out there saying, I hope, like you've gone on a date and said, I hope this is the one? If that's you, know that's common. That was me all the time. Every time I would have at least something, it would be, I hope this was the one. I changed that. And like I said, so quickly I found my partner and ultimately created a healthy relationship that I've been in for the last year and a half. So here you can see is me and my beautiful partner, David. And like I said, from someone who's never had a relationship to be able to create one, knowing that you have someone who completely supports you, completely loves you, completely understands you, and is on the journey with you, it's beautiful. And that's what I want to help you guys understand and create. Because like I said, I spent 200,000 unresourcefully going out every weekend looking for love. I then spent probably over 200,000 resourcefully doing all these courses so that I could create that for myself and ultimately help so many people. So, looking at what you've done in your life, I want you to really think about how much time and money have you spent unresourcefully looking for love? Think about it. How many years have you been trying to find a partner? What are some of the things you've been doing? Have you been going out like me every weekend hoping you'd find someone? Have you been online dating, paying for all of these different things, all these different apps, spending lots of money? Maybe it's all of the stuff. Like, think about it. Like, it could be that, unresourcefully trying to manage your loneliness, you might have, paid for OnlyFans and done all these different things, or paid for porn, or done all these different things, right? Think about that, because that's unresourcefully some of the unresourceful ways that we are looking for love or moving away from loneliness, trying to have a quick fix, right? Like I said, none of this is shameful for us. We should be able to be open and honest with ourselves. And I want you to think about that. How much time and money have you spent looking for love over the past, years, decades, whatever it is for you? Really think about this and be honest with yourself. And you might be alarmed by the number, but don't be alarmed, because again, this is just getting clarity. This is us moving forward. So I really wanted to share that with you. So really wanted to talk about some of the people that have come through the program. And here is one of my amazing clients, Rob. And Rob came to me and did one of my online programs. He came to me back probably just over 2 years ago and did one of my online programs. And it was a 6-week online program there. It's designed specifically to help gay men on their path to finding love. The great thing about Rob is that, he came in with some real, what I would say, limiting beliefs about himself and about, having people love him. He'd had some experiences with some health problems that had caused him to really think that, maybe, if he wants to find a relationship, maybe he's going to be lacking in certain ways. He had some problems around, having a lot of toxic relationships in the past, to the point where he was in abusive relationships and repeating cycles constantly. So he kind of was afraid to even get back out dating. So when Rob had been to him, I think it'd been at least 2 or 3 years since he had been on the dating scene, because he'd been so afraid of it. And he'd done other programs. He'd been to other coaching programs and just hadn't got any results from them. So when he came to me, he was a little bit skeptical, but he ultimately decided to jump in and give it a go, because it wasn't, the online programs are quite affordable. So he thought, let's give this a go. And if I don't like it, after a month, I can leave. Ultimately, the great thing about it, Rob moved further up and he joined the group coaching program. And in the group coaching program, this is where Rob really started to do the deep work. And within probably, 2 or 3 weeks, we got him back onto the online dating profile. He started going on dates with people again, ultimately coming to one of the boot camps that we had. And the amazing thing that we did at that boot camp was we started to envision things in all areas of our life. And the great thing about it is that from that experience, within less than a week, Rob found someone who had been a friend in his life that he had never thought of them differently as a friend, and realized maybe this person is someone that I can be in a relationship with. Ultimately had this discussion, and within a week they were in a relationship. So thinking about it like that, it's about opening our eyes. I'm not saying that there's always going to be a friend that's around the corner that's just like Rob's situation, but sometimes when we are open to finding love, the right people turn up in our life, or the people that were there become ready for us, and you can ultimately find your relationship. So Rob went from someone who pulled himself completely away from the dating scene to jumping into the program, to getting on dates, to going on dates and enjoying the experience, to ultimately finding a relationship and being happy for himself. And I'm super happy to see that Rob has been able to do that for himself in his life. So that's great. So thank you, Rob, for your commitment. And you might be here today because I know that you said you'd jump on. So if you're here, it's so good to have you to be in the program, my friend. All right, let's jump in and talk about some of these main reasons that gay men fail in finding lasting love. Now, we talked a little bit about addictions before as well. Now, did you know that over 1 in 3 gay men will suffer from addictions? Actually, let's quickly talk a bit about the numbers before we jump in. So it said 40 to 50% of gay men will get bullied at some point in their life, whether that's at school, in social settings, at home, or in the workplace, right? These are the numbers. 50% of gay men will deal with some sort of depression. 60% will deal with anxiety, usually social anxiety again. 1 in 10 will attempt or really think about suicide. And like I said, 1 in 3 will think about, will have an addiction. And then that all leads to about 70% of gay men who suffer from loneliness, whether that is short-term or long-term. It could be situational or it could be chronic, right? That's some of the real things that we go through. And because of that, you can probably think that, all of those numbers are 2 to 3 times higher than the general population, right? So think about that. So it's not just that these numbers are alarmingly high, it's that they're so much higher than the rest of the population. So there are parts of our experience as gay men that we've gone through that do lead to this, which is why it can be a lot harder for us to find relationships, right? Because if we feel we're broken or we struggle with things, imagine if you're 60%, one of the 60% that suffers from social anxiety, like I did. It was debilitating. I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't talk to people. I wouldn't go on any dates at that point. So if you're dealing with anxiety, it can hold you back from really even getting out in the dating world, right? You might have fears of rejection. You might have fears of, what can happen to you. Like, because as gay men, we've dealt with rejection in the past. We know that it comes with some pain. Sometimes we try to avoid the pain, so we avoid the rejection, so we avoid the dates, right? So these are some of the key things that hold us back from finding lasting love. So when we talk about addictions, right, we might suffer from our own addictions, whether that's alcohol, whether that's drugs, whether it's prescription medication, whether that's food, whether that's porn or sex, right? Porn and sex, are quite high addictions when it comes to the gay community. As you can probably tell, some of us might think that, all gay men just only want sex, right? That's some of the perceptions that we might have. So it's important for us to understand that, if we are dealing with our own addiction on some level and we're trying to avoid dealing with it, the likelihood of us matching with someone who has an addiction is quite high, because having someone who is healthy, it's hard for you to think about. Think about a healthy person. Do they want to date someone who's an alcoholic? Do they want to date someone who maybe takes a lot of drugs or is addicted to porn or whatever it is, right? Healthy people don't want to date, unhealthy people. So we've got to think about the kinds of relationship that we want and maybe where are we at on that scale? Do we suffer from some of these addictions? For me, so many of the clients that I've helped had some sort of addiction in some way. And that was holding them back from finding love because, again, they kept attracting people that were also with addictions. Until we dealt with the addiction, we moved past it. Look, I've helped clients, and I'm going to share a bit about it later, that was addicted to meth for over 6 years and is now at over 600 days clean and sober, right? It's things that will change your life, but then will also allow you to have a relationship, because if you've got a relationship with meth, it's going to be very hard for you to have a relationship with somebody else, right? Think about that, So another big one is addictions. Another one is avoiding dealing with problems in life, right? So many of us, like I said, avoid dealing with some of the painful things that have happened to us. Maybe what we class as trauma. Maybe we've got some issues in the past that relate to our family, past relationships, or situations that happen like bullying, right? All of those things lead to, like I said, maybe us feeling certain types of way. Like I said, if we've got such higher numbers in the gay community when it comes to mental health, a lot of the times we're avoiding dealing with those and resolving them. And that means that it's going to be hard for us to create a healthy relationship, right? If we're looking for someone to come in and save us like a Prince Charming, then the thing is that it's very unlikely to happen when you're in those places, because healthy people don't want to save unhealthy people in that they're dating. Maybe they want to do it for their career, like I said, but you don't want to date someone and have them as a project, right? You want to find someone to love and who's going to love you and you're going to have a healthy relationship together. That's what ultimately people want long term. Now, another thing is this perfection mindset, right? Maybe you're someone who is a perfectionist. And this is another thing that happens for a lot of gay men is that because we growing up, our struggle with our identity led to us feeling that being gay might have been a deficiency. That was what we might have thought at one point of our life. Or maybe some of us still think that way, right? Because of that, we learned to be perfect or successful and focus on really being the best at all these other areas because we wanted to for people to look at all of those things that we did so well and not focus on the gay part, right? So getting into this perfectionist mindset means that you expect everything to be perfect, you strive for it, and then you expect your partner to be perfect. And the problem is that we know in reality that nothing can be perfect. There's always going to be flaws. And it's also about just learning to accept ourselves instead of trying to be perfect. So when we learn that inner acceptance, we get away from the perfectionist, which doesn't mean that we don't strive to be successful and do great things in our life. It just means that we're moving away from the perfectionist that's going to hold us back, right? If we're trying to attract perfection, we're always going to find flaws that are going to prove that that's not reality. Next is internalized homophobia, right? There's a lot of us that still deal with internalized homophobia, meaning that we struggle to come to terms with our identity as gay men. And you may be thinking, no, that's not me. But if you're ever someone who's thought, why did I have to be born gay? Being gay is so much harder. It's such a tough life being gay. I wish I wasn't gay. All of those things are part of internalized homophobia, right? Because you haven't fully accepted it and you still see it as a deficiency, right? And that was me up until, like I said, a few years ago when I really dealt with my shit that I'd been holding on to for over 20 plus years. So, it's stuff that is common, right? And again, if you're dealing with this stuff, it's going to be hard for you to find that healthy relationship as well. Like I said, we talked about past traumas, like whether that's to do with family, whether that's to do with friendships, past relationships, whatever that happened in your life that you've got past stuff that you're holding on to, that's going to hold you back from having the kind of relationship that you want to have. Previous toxic relationships, like I said, we've talked about toxic relationships here. You may have been in the past. That's going to hold you back from having a healthy relationship because you're going to might have some baggage still. You've yet to deal with it or process it or understand why you had that relationship or learn from it. You might repeat the pattern and maybe you're afraid of that. So that's going to hold you back from finding the long-lasting love that you desire. Fear of love and joy. Now, this is a huge thing that people don't understand about. So people have a fear of love and joy. Now, why would people have a fear of that? Think about it like this. Whenever something really great has happened in your life that's brought you feelings of joy and love, what's the next thing that you ultimately start to think? Most people start to think, oh my God, what's going to go wrong? How's this going to, what's going to make this moment not continue on, right? So people have a fear of love and joy because their ultimate feeling is that I'm going to get the joy and then it's going to be taken away from me. And then I'm going to have to deal with the heartache of what happened to take away the joy. So people struggle to search and move the way towards love and joy because of the fear of what happens afterwards as well. Next is we all have unhealthy patterns of behavior. Now, maybe some of you don't understand what that means, but like I said, addictions are unhealthy patterns of behavior that we have. We go for a process and it's a pattern of behavior that leads to us drinking or whatever it is that we do, right? So some of them are minor as well. Like maybe it's smoking or maybe it's, whatever it is, like sleeping the day away, like depending on what we are, we all have learned unhealthy patterns of behavior that we need to unlearn. And so for us, it's about going, what are some of these things that I'm doing currently that are holding me back, that are putting me into the negative mindset, right? And it could be the fact that, you're unhappy with the job that you're in, right? But you keep staying there because you don't believe you're good enough. And so you go around in a circle in a pattern of behavior that leads to you not doing anything about it. And then ultimately, it means I'm not going to make a change. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay unhappy, right? Because that could be where you're at. Next one is that you maybe don't know who you are. And that's a common thing. You know, one of the big things that I go over with so many of my clients when they join up is really understanding who you are as a person, who you are deep down inside, because sometimes the real struggle is like getting to know who we are. Sometimes we're afraid of that because, like I said, if we grew up and we struggled with relationships, whether, people, rejected us, we might ultimately not believe that we're good enough or worthy. So we don't get to know ourselves well enough. So for us, it's about going on a journey of inner peace and inner understanding to get to know who we are. Because when we know who we are, we can then say, hey, look, I'm happy with these things, or I'm unhappy with those things. I might change these things, or I really want to accentuate some of these great positive feelings about myself. So it's about just getting clear on who you are as well. Next is maybe you don't believe in yourself or that you deserve love, right? So many of us out there hold ourselves back because maybe we feel unworthy of love. We have low self-esteem. Well, why would someone love us? Like, like if someone gets to know me, they're gonna learn that there's all these things wrong with me. That might be you. Like I said, that was one of the big things that held me back was I didn't believe in myself at all. Now, you might not believe that there is someone out there for you. Depending on your situation, where you're at, your age, situation, you might be in a place going, well, I've lived this many years of my life single, as if there's going to be someone out there. Like you start to lose belief that you can do it, right? The good thing is you've all come here today. So there's some part of you that does believe that there's someone out there for you. So the great thing about that is you're willing to at least hear this stuff and take it in and process it and see if these things resonate for you in your life. You may not know how to change, right? Sometimes we all might think that, who we are today is who we're always going to be. But the truth is that we are constantly changing and constantly evolving. Sometimes we can actively choose to change, meaning like I'm going to make a concerted effort to make some changes in my life. Or ultimately, for a lot of people, they just let life change them. These events happen, and ultimately it forces me to change because I have no other option to change. Think about COVID situation. So many people had to make changes throughout COVID because they were put in a situation that happened around them, and it forced them into a place where maybe I'm at home on my own, and I'm not happy. That was ultimately what led to me making this big change. And now I'm great to say that I actively make changes in my life instead of reactively making those changes as well. Maybe you're someone who doesn't understand how to be resourceful. That was me. Like I said, I spent over 200,000 going out every weekend, trying to find love, looking for relationships every weekend. Like I said, unresourcefully spending that money until I decided to resourcefully, spend that same amount of money on doing all these different courses that led to me making changes and growth in my life, right? Finding support, getting mentors, people who'd walked the path before me. And that was more resourceful ways of making those choices. So maybe we don't understand how to be resourceful because sometimes we don't even think that we're being unresourceful. And then finally, it's about, letting your inner saboteurs take over. We don't want to let our inner saboteurs take over anymore. And maybe you're someone who has let your inner saboteurs take over in the past. We all have them. These are the voices in our head that tell us that we're not good enough, that tell us we shouldn't do that tell us to try to keep us safe, right? There's 10 inner saboteurs that we all have that I share in the program and with my clients. I don't have time to jump into them all today because of the time constraint. But there's 10 inner saboteurs that we all have in our head that if we can understand and learn from, we can actually learn to move past them. So those things also hold us back from finding long-lasting love. I wanted to share someone else that was a client of mine, and this is Ron. So Ron, amazing guy, right? Came to me late 60s, had been married, had a family, married to a woman for most of his life, but knew he was gay for his whole life. But his life led him down that path. He decided to make those choices because ultimately, back in the day, it was harder to be openly gay, and he decided to make that choice. Happy family, all of those things. But, when he got to his 60s, decided that it was time for him to start living his truth. So ultimately that led to him, breaking up with his wife, getting a divorce, and going on that journey of self-discovery. Who am I now as a gay man, right? So he came to me in that position where he maybe had started that, he'd been on the dating scene, but just not had any luck, right? And the great thing is Ron joined one of my online programs, joined that there, great from the start, jumped in and really started to do the work, started to change the way he was seeing things, right? And one of the big things was that Ron was just trying to recreate his relationship they had with his wife, but with a man. And the problem was that was just not going to be able to happen. He also had to still deal with the guilt that he had towards his wife and that whole situation. And so when we were working through those things, he decided that he needed to take more steps. So he joined one of the boot camps and ultimately became a one-on-one client and worked with me for over 12 months. Amazing journey together. And ultimately what we found out was that we had to work through some of those beliefs that he had around relationships and start to change it. And the great thing about Ron was that he found a relationship with a man that he had dated in the past, that wasn't right at the time. And the great thing for him was that he'd gone through and been in a number of different smaller relationships, and each time learning the lessons and really figuring out what it was that he really wanted. Because that was Ron's biggest problem, is he didn't know what he really wanted from a relationship. And was also going through a big change in his career as well. Like, he'd been a hairdresser for over 50 years and was now like going, I want to do something different. And he created, he's an online business. So we were working through those things. And when he started to find himself, get happy, and start to work on different areas of his life, the partner came back there and they have a successful relationship. So the good thing about Ron was that he created that for himself by doing the work, joining the program and really understanding the concepts and the strategies that we talk about in there, and ultimately changing all areas of his life. That's an important thing. So I'm really excited to share that with you, Ron. It was a great journey that we went on together. Next here is, let's jump into some of the key foundations. Like I said, we're going to share 5 foundations for you to understand so that you can create that healthy relationship in your life. So number 1 is you attract someone that is a match to the energetic level that you are at. So as we were talking before, if we want a healthy relationship, someone who's in a great place, happy, loving, kind, but we're not in that place, we're not going to be able to find someone on that level. We have to be able to understand that we attract someone who's on our level. So like I said, if we're dealing with some sort of addiction, we're going to attract someone who's probably got some sort of addiction. Again, if we're happy, healthy, in the best place of our life, positive, doing all the right things on a growth mindset, we're going to attract someone in that realm, right? So thinking about that, maybe looking at the people that you've found and dated in the past, look at where you've been at. Have you been fully happy? Have you been dealing with some loneliness, some depression, some of that anxiety, right? If you are, likelihood is that you've probably seen that in other people that you've been dating as well. So I want you to really think about that. What is that I need to do to make it shift? How do I become, like I said, a match? How do I become the partner to the person that I want to have, right? Because again, that's where we figure out the work that we need to be done. Like, if I want this kind of a partner, who would they be attracted to? What would they want from a relationship? And if I'm not that match, what do I need to do to get there? So the question is if you are being honest, is the current energy that you put off more positive or more negative, right? And don't talk about like, I'm positive to everyone else, but deep down I'm a negative bitch to myself, because we want to know the energy we're putting off, because the energy is the truth inside, even if the words are different, right? People feel energy, right? People feel energy from who we are, right? So think about this. Do you come across desperate or needy at times? If that's you, that can be felt as well. So I want you to really think about your energy and how you're showing up in the world, because that's going to be the first thing that we want to work on. That's the first foundation, is working on our own energy as well. Number 2 foundation, getting clarity on who you are and what you want in a partner is how you attract the right person, right? If we don't know who we are, we don't know what we want, and we go out in the dating world, we're going to get a whole lot of things that we don't want, because we don't know what it is that we're looking for. We might date this person over here and we might like one thing about them, but there might be 3 things we don't. And maybe we go, I might just settle for that. Or we might go, you know what, that's not right. See you later. So the more you know who you are and what you're looking for in a partner means that you have this easier, broader perspective, right? The more narrow you are in what you want, you have this whole massive fear of people coming, and it's about going, yes, no, 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 no. the more you know who you are, the more you know what you want, you narrow it down and you get closer to having that kind of a relationship as well. So really getting to know yourself and what you want in a partner is foundation number 2. So really here, question for you guys. Do you have a clear vision of who you are and what kind of a relationship that you want? Right? And I'm assuming that on some level you might, and on some level you won't, because you probably wouldn't be here if you were super clear, right? Because like I said, I've spoken to thousands of gay men over the last few years, helped hundreds of them, right? And some of the key things that happen is especially when they come to one of my boot camps, my 1-day full immersion, is we go deep into who you are and what kind of relationship you want. Most people do not know what they're looking for, right? So if you're someone who wants to find that relationship, who wants to really have one, figure out who you are and what kind of relationship you want. That's the key things that we work on within my programs that I work with, right? The online program's designed to really help you figure out who you are, what kind of relationship that you're looking for as well. Foundation 3, self-healing and growth is paramount to a successful relationship. You have to learn to continually grow as a person, but also look at your relationship as a separate entity and that you can grow together, because you have to grow within, but you also have to grow as a relationship, right? And so figuring out how I can continue to work through some of the things that are painful for me, heal those parts of me, and focus on the growth and where I want to go in life, that's going to help you have a successful relationship. Because if you just sit there wanting someone to save you, like I said, it's not going to be a successful relationship. You've got to have a sense of purpose. And again, when you have someone that you love, you sometimes push yourself to be better for them as well. But sometimes we've got to get back to the basics and say, hey, maybe I need to start with me. Instead of expecting that person's going to push me, how do I push myself so that I continue to heal and grow and then create a successful relationship for myself? So that's foundation number 3. And here's the question for you. Have you dealt with childhood wounds or past traumas from your previous relationships, right? Again, struggling as a young gay man, coming from different backgrounds with family, religion, spirituality, all of those things can be difficult, right? Like depending on where you are in the world, being gay is still not acceptable and it can be really difficult, especially from some of those places that are very religious. I've had men, like I said, I live in Indonesia, in Bali, and I also used to work a lot in the Philippines. And I used to have a lot of my team members who were gay, and they told me of the experiences it was for them and how hard it is for them to be gay because of the religious factor that comes with that. So, for you guys, there's a lot of wounds and traumas that are going to happen from that. And for us to have, like I said, a healthy, happy relationship, we have to go on the journey. How do I deal with those childhood wounds? How do I deal with the past traumas, whether that's from previous relationships? Because again, if we've had toxic relationships with our family, we're more likely, more prone to get in toxic relationships with partners, whether that's abuse, whether that's, just unhappiness and loneliness within the relationship. Think about, if you've been in a relationship and you've had past wounds, have you repeated some of the cycles that you've been in there from that as well? So that's foundation number 3. Foundation 4 is relationships are a living entity and they need to be nurtured that way. So think about it like this, like I said, in the relationship, there's 3 people. There's you, there's your partner, and then there's the relationship. So we've got to treat that relationship as a living entity because it's something that you have to feed, that you have to nurture, that you have to spend time on having and giving to as well. Because if you don't have that, the thing is that it's going to die, right? Think about your garden. If you've got flowers there or weeds, usually the weeds come when you don't take care of the garden, right? They just grow because, naturally they grow through the there. So you have weeds coming up. But if you're someone who goes out and gardens, you get rid of the weeds and you focus on nurturing the flowers. The flowers grow, you have a pretty garden, a healthy, happy garden where you feel very safe and peaceful. Same thing with your relationship. Think about it like that. If you don't spend time seeing it as a living entity, the weeds are going to come up. There's going to crop up. There's going to be problems coming through. But if you focus on nurturing it, you're going to see flowers blossom, you're going to see peace, and you're going to see growth through that. So you really have to look at, how do I understand seeing relationships as living entities, and that they need to be nurtured that way as well. So that's foundation 4. And questions for you here. How have you treated your relationships in the past? What's happened in your previous relationship? Have you nurtured them? Or if you've never had one, how have you viewed others how have you viewed other people, whether it's your family or friends, treat relationships in the past? Do you see a lot of loving representation around where people love and adore each other? Or is it that there's a little, maybe a bit of manipulation and a lot of, unhappiness, right? Some people stay together for ultimately, not great reasons. And you might notice that you've seen unhealthy representations of relationships in the past. So it's about understanding that as well. How have you treated those in the past as well? Next is foundation number 5, which is getting outside help is paramount to a healthy, growing relationship. And then ultimately finding long-lasting love. So I had so many people come to me in different parts of their life as a single person who have only ever taken advice on getting a relationship from their single friends. It's quite crazy to go out and ask people who aren't in situations where you want to be tips on how to have a relationship, how to have a healthy relationship. Or you might ask, you see your parents who might have a toxic relationship, they're not happy, and you're asking them about relationship advice, right? Think about who you've asked in the past. Are you getting help from the right kinds of people? And that's the biggest thing, where when my clients join my online programs, they come and say, wow, like getting the right kind of advice is paramount. Having someone who's a mentor to you in having a relationship and finding it is important, right? If you're trying to become, great in your workplace or in your studies, you have mentors, you have teachers, right? And sometimes, like I said, people don't teach you the relationship stuff in school, especially the relationship for gay men. So having mentors and finding people who can support you on that journey, super important. It's going to help you to, like I said, find a healthy relationship in your life as well. So question then, who have you been asking for help with finding long-lasting love? Have you been asking people who are single advice on dating? Have you been asking people who are in toxic relationships advice on having a great relationship? Think about that, because that's probably going to be the things that might lead to you ultimately not getting what you really, really want to have in your life. Awesome. So those are the 5 foundations. I really wanted to share with you another one of my clients, Jay. Now, Jay is probably the ultimate overachiever. Literally joined the online program. Within a couple of weeks of going through the online program, he said, I need your help. I want to work with you one-on-one. Joined up with me, went into the group program, came into the one-on-one program, because if you're in the one-on-one program, you get all of the stuff, you get the group program and everything, right? And literally followed through with everything that we said in our one-on-one sessions, and within a month, literally had found a partner. He even found the person just not random on a Facebook group, not even looking for them in that way, but because he implemented the strategies that we talked about, looked through these 5 key foundations that we've just spoken about, and really started to take note in his life, ultimately found someone. And now Jay has been with that person for the last 18 months now, I believe it is. Yeah, since March of last year. Ultimately, like I said, came from nowhere. And Jay himself came to me as someone who had been in toxic relationships, one after another. He probably had been in 6 toxic relationships, just didn't understand why he kept attracting these kinds of people. And like I said, when we understood and went through those 5 key foundations and worked on that stuff, doing it together, he ultimately was able to find love. And the great thing about Jay was that he only needed the help for a short period of time. So people come in for different reasons and stay for as long as they need to, right? Sometimes people get the relation and say, look, I want to stay because I'm really happy with the results I'm getting in other areas of my life. But Jay, came in, got the result, was super happy. And I love seeing his pictures pop up on Facebook with him and his partner. His partner's Filipino, and they just love traveling together, and it's really cool. So happy to see Jay getting what he wants out of love as well. So I know I've been talking to you a little bit about the Love Attraction online program throughout today. So I thought I'd just quickly share this with you for a couple of minutes And then we're going to jump into some open court Q&A. So what is the Love Attraction online program? So really what it is, it's an online program that, is created through an online platform on there. And you've also got an easy to use mobile app. So really why it's been created is that I knew that there was a need for something where people could just jump in and start to learn these foundations at their own pace, right? Come in at their own pace and watch it or listen to it at their own pace. The great thing about having a mobile app is it takes 2 seconds to download. Once you've gone through the sign-up process, you've got access to it. You can watch all the videos immediately. Now, I have some of my clients who are driving to work and they listen to it in their car. Some people are on the train, they're watching their videos. So some people they come home and they stream the videos on their TV like it's a movie. So whatever works. The great thing about it is it's so easy to use. Now, there's a huge library. There's well over 50 coaching and training videos focused on how you personally can do the work needed to manage those 5 foundations and actually then learn all the key things that are going to help you have a healthy long-term relationship. How can I find it? What are the things that I need to do to create that and find that relationship for me? Because again, like with Ron, like with Rob, like with Jay, they all found the relationship in the most where they weren't looking for it, right? So it opens our eyes and broadens our perspective to know that sometimes things are already there, or that the way that we find things is just by being the person we need to be in order to have that. So huge coaching trainings that are available. It's worth over 20K worth of stuff there. When you look at I add new videos every week. So if you're someone on there, there's something new coming every week that's going to help you on that journey. So you can spend as much time as you like watching it. Like I said, you might be driving to work and you've got 30, 40 minutes of drive every day. You might put on one of these videos. Super easy. That's the great thing about it. It's just at the click of a button. There's an online community of like-minded gay men on the same journey, which we talked about earlier. It's important to have people around us who are doing the same things. Like I said, when looking for love and dating can be a very lonely process, but it doesn't have to be. So having some people around you that really want to find love, who are really ready to share that with and like help each other and support each other and celebrate each other, it's priceless, right? Having that support is priceless to you as well. There's also a forum online, super easy forum, where you can just ask as many questions as you like throughout the whole month. And the great thing about it is that I get back to most people within 2 hours, especially if I'm away. Obviously, if I'm asleep, I can't get back to everyone within 2 hours, but I'll get back to most people within 2 hours of asking. So if you've got a question around dating, you're going on a date, you need some support, you ask the question there, and I get back to people with some great supportive questions, with some answers that are going to help you move forward, especially on your journey to finding love. And the amazing thing as well is we all get a monthly live Zoom call, which is a group call that's going to support you on the journey. So like I said, you've got that online community of people, but we get a group call and it helps you guys exactly with where you're at so that we can learn. And if you've enjoyed things like today, we jump into these things as well. So it's really like in-depth training, but also getting to answer your questions live on the call so that you can, like I said, get those dates. And so many of my clients, find their partner within 2 to 3 months of getting on the program because they do the work. They start to make the changes in their life. So these are some of the major features that you will have. And the great thing about it is that it's just easy to use at your own pace. Next is, these are some of the benefits, right? What are some of the benefits of me doing some of these coachings and trainings? And so think about what you've gotten out of today. I hope that today you've learned to understand yourself a bit better, right? Because that's what you'll get from also doing some of these trainings. You might understand some things around you. Oh my God, like that one thing you said about relationship has made me think about it a little bit differently. So you're understanding the world around you better. Maybe you are on the path to saying, hey, I need to know more about who I am and what I want from a relationship. This is the thing that the program gives you, the clarity on who I am and what I want. And once we know that, we are so much closer. That's one of the biggest things that we can give to ourselves is the clarity on who we are and what we want. Because that's ultimately how we're going to get the relationship that we're looking for. The great thing about it is as we go through these lessons, that it makes us ponder. Like I never leave any of the trainings that I do, whether that's me as a presenter or the ones I do on my own journey, without thinking about it, pondering about it. It's not always what you learn in the training. It's sometimes, when you have those quiet moments to yourself, where the real lessons come. So think about it, that there's all this stuff that helps you heal and also learn some personal growth, right? If you want a journey of growth, self-love and personal growth are key on that. And then the most important thing of the benefits is learn how to find the partner that you desire, right? Because like I said, if you jump in here, do the work, within 2 to 3 months, you can have the relationship that you work. I've seen it time and time again. Like I said, I've helped hundreds of gay men over the past few years. I wanted to share with you Sean, another one of my awesome clients who jumped straight in to the online program here. He joined the program and started doing the work, following the processes. Now, Sean came in, he's, just turned 40, and he was at a point in his life where he hadn't had a relationship or any relationship really most of his life. Anything he'd had was really short term. And he kind of, was spending his time on Grindr all the time, but never going on dates because there was this fear of rejection, fear of, people seeing him. He had a lot of anxiety as well and depression. So anytime maybe he set up something, he would cancel it at the last minute because he was afraid of the rejection, right? So when he joined the program, great thing about it is he got some clarity on who he was and what he was looking for. And then he was able to learn and really understand some things about his own, his own patterns of behavior that was holding him back. Then so the great thing about Sean was that when he got to that point, he was like, I figured all these things out, but I just feel like I need some more support from you. So he came and joined the group program, and we ultimately got some more support. And the great thing about that was when he joined the group program, he came and did some one-on-one, and we did some deep work, which was timeline therapy, and we helped him remove the baggage because he had some stuff that had happened in his past that probably no one should ever have to go through in their life that really caused a lot of trauma. We cleared out the trauma, and the great thing about Sean was almost immediately he's been dating again. He's been out there. For someone who hasn't been on dates in years and years and years, he's out there now looking for his long-term partner. Been on quite a few dates, and he's not pulling himself back. He's yet to find it. He's been in that space for a while. But the good thing about Sean is that he is happy with where he's at in the process. He knows that it's a journey. He doesn't want to rush and go, hey, look, you know what? I want to get to here. He goes, he wants to enjoy the dating process. And he's really at that place right now. So again, it's also about falling in love with the process. It's not just about ultimately saying, here's the result, I need to get it tomorrow. Otherwise, life is over. He's falling in love with life again, falling in love with the process. And that's the great thing about Sean. And that's what happened for him joining the online program as well. So why is it different, right? It's designed specifically for gay men, and I've researched thousands of gay men from my years of talking to so many of them about what has been the struggles, what have been holding us back, and what are we ultimately that we're looking for. So the key thing here is that so many things out there, so many programs out there are designed at the straight community, as I've said. And the real thing that I want to say is that I think in the straight community is, there's a 50 to 60% divorce rate for marriages. So if I'm thinking about that, why would I want to take advice from straight community where their divorce rate is 50 to 60%? Why not learn from someone who's specifically working with gay men and has helped, hundreds of gay men over the few years? Like I said, it's worked for me and many of my clients. So there's proven strategies that work for us as gay men. So like I said, why focus on the straight community who aren't getting great results when we can do stuff that's targeted for us as gay men? So this is the price breakdown we took before. The access to the online library with coaching and training, right? That's well over 10K. I think before it was 20K worth of value with the amount of videos I've added in there. There's new videos added every week. So those ones are worth well over $200 each, right? There's a forum to ask unlimited questions. That's over worth of $1,000 and worth a month that people ask me questions, one-on-one with my clients, right? Monthly group call. You get to come on a call with other people in the community and get to know them, but also get to grow and have further trainings live. Because sometimes live things, you get to ask questions and move forward in an easier process. You get the online community, which, like I said, is priceless. Having support and someone to celebrate you is awesome on that journey. Plus, there's going to be some bonuses that I share in a few minutes that is well over $1,000 worth of bonuses. Plus, the great thing about it is that's well over $15,000 worth of stuff that you don't have to worry about paying for here. Because when you look at it, with all of the stuff that you get within the program, the easy to use app, all of the trainings, it's only $197 a month. And when you think about it, when the clients to work with me one-on-one on a journey for, 12 months, people pay, $12,000 for a full year of one-on-one coaching with me. The great thing about it is you get all of the stuff that we get to teach, all the videos for under $200 a month, which is fantastic, right? It's a great saving and something I really feel privileged to be able to put together at such an affordable price range as well. The great thing is that it comes with an amazing guarantee, right? It's subscription models, it's month to month. So if you might join it for a month or 2 months or 3 months, some people join it for 6 months and then they get all the learnings, they watch all the videos, and then it's time for them to go. The great thing about it is you can cancel anytime you like. You don't have to worry about being locked in for a year or 2 years like many other programs out there. I allow it for you to go, come and go as you please. Some people come, join for a couple of months, take a break. Maybe they're dating someone. Maybe it's not worked out. They come and join it again. Whatever happens, right? Like I said, I've had many people come and go. It's part of life. And the great thing about that is if someone wants to sign up today, and if you're not happy with the program, I give people a 7-day full money back guarantee. If you join it and it's not for you, you just need to contact me within 7 days and I refund you the money. So like I said, there's no pressure at all. You can go in and you can play around with it and get to understand it so that you can see if this is the right thing for you. Now, here's another one of my clients, James, and he was the one I was talking to you about that, was struggling with a meth addiction, dealing with meth, for over 6 years, a massive problem in his life, had affected all of his relationships, had him isolating completely on his own, really struggling on, he actually went, through regular drug tests at work and it was probably only a matter of time where he was going to get caught, right? And so the thing with James was that when he came to me, we had to do a lot of work. I had to do a lot of work on how he saw himself, because for someone who's addicted to something like meth for such a long time, there's a lack of self-worth. There's struggles with who they are and their identity. And the great thing about James is, we worked on that. He came in and joined the online program first, started to watch some videos, but then he knew he needed some more support, especially when he was to deal with such a difficult addiction. I helped James on that journey. The amazing thing about that was he within a few months completely got clean. It took a couple of months because it was a trial and error process for those first couple of months. But after that, I'm so happy and blessed to say he's over 600 days clean and sober. How beautiful is that? 600 days clean and sober. The great thing about James also, he, from someone who had never dated before, wanted to, has now been dating and had been on multiple, had a few small-term relationships, but now is in a relationship with someone that he's been in for the last about 3 or 4 months. This is the longest one that he's been on. And the great thing about James is that he has continued to do the work and continued to stay on the path because he knew that ultimately he wanted to get results. And until he got the results that he was looking for and was super happy, for someone who's 600 days clean, he wanted to get to 2 years before he gave up and moved on to something else. And so the great thing about that is that he came in, followed the program, did the work, and seeing the results in his life. And it's not just in relationship, it was across his entire life as well. So that's the great thing about it. So again, let's jump in here and talk about again all of these features that you can see here. And I just wanted to share with you guys a special offer for people who've come to this webinar because it's Christmas time. Because it's a program that I believe in, because I also know that it's hard at this time of the year for people to sign up and have money. And I also wanted to make it available, especially for people who are really committed, making it an easy decision. So instead of it being $197 a month, for anyone who signs up from this webinar over the next 3 to 4 days, I'm going to allow it to be only $97 a month. So that's a huge saving there. And that will be for however long you're in the program for. So you can come and go at that price range. I keep people committed to the price range. It's not just for 1 month and then next month I'm going to charge $197. It's because I really believe in the work here and I want to make something affordable and easy to use for so many people. So if you're someone, again, who's looking for love, who needs to understand a bit more about who they are, what they're looking for, who wants to understand more of those 5 foundations we talked about. Maybe you've got some of those things that are some of those common misconceptions that are holding you back from having a long-term relationship. here it is for you. That's set out here. So it's $97 a month. And what I'll do is I'll get now, if you can share the link in the actual chat screen for me, for everyone to be able to have a look and sign up for. That'll be great if I know you can put that in the chat screen. So for these guys to be able to see the link, because I want you to be able to, you know, have a quick look and see that there. Have you got it on now? Perfect, she's got it. So if you guys can just quickly check that link for me and see if it's working for you. Because you should be able to see this kind of a screen here, right? So if you can click on the link and just tell me if that is what you guys see here. Because it's a super simple process. Literally all you have to do is put in your details, right? Right, you put in your details here, enter that here. All you do is click next. What it's going to do is it's going to bring you to the page here. Super easy, right? Like I told you there, we've got it $97 a month. Again, I've got an option for people who want to take it on for the year. Your huge saving of over 57%, only $497 for a year. That's up to you guys, but there's multiple options. If you're someone, you just have to put that in, select that, and then click next. So if you're on here doing it, just quickly do that. It's super simple. There's a bit of information if you want to read it. It's easy. Most of the stuff we've covered today. You click next, and then all it does is it comes to a place where you enter your details. As soon as you've entered your details, you get full access to the program immediately, right? So that's the great thing about it, is it's immediate access. So that's just how easy it is for you guys to click on that link and do that, you know, in your own time. So let's just quickly get back to here. Like I said, these are all the things you get in the program. And because I said I wanted to add a few extra things in as bonuses, here's some of the mega bonuses that you can get if you join up from this webinar. So number one, if you get access to my Confidence Mastery webinar series. So this is a series of, you know, online webinar trainings that are all focused on inner confidence. If you're someone who struggles with confidence and you want to learn how to get online dating and find love, and like the confidence is the thing that's holding you back, the great thing is I've got you covered. I've ran many things on confidence. I teach a lot of mastery when it comes to confidence and understanding how you can pull it from within. I used to be someone who was the least confident person in my life. So I've trained myself to be that way. And this webinar series teaches you that. So that's a value of $297 that you get also for joining up for the online program. Number two is that, you know, if you're someone who doesn't understand about what you need to put in your online profile so you can get more dates by being yourself as well and attract the right dates, I have a way that I can do a personal review of your online dating profile. I can look through what you've got as your images, what you've got written down, and I can give you some tips so that you can create the best profile, so you can put your best foot forward and start to attract the kind of relationship that you're looking for. Again, that's a great bonus that comes from it for anyone who signs up to the program. Next is a great one as well is, again, you might get onto the date. We've updated your profile. You might be ready to get on the dates. I've got a great PDF that I share with you guys, and it's a list of the 30, I actually added 10 more since this, 40 best questions that you can ask on a first date that will ensure, if you've got a good connection, that you get a second date. So this is beautiful. It's a great, easy to use thing. I give you a bit of understanding about how you build rapport and some of the key questions you can ask that are going to get you to know the people that you're wanting to date. Because sometimes we just don't know what to ask, right? So it's super easy PDF. Takes you a couple of minutes to check through, and you can probably have it and review it the next time you go on a date and see what happens, right? See how easily it is. You're going to get a second date as well. That's that. Bonus number 4 is fantastic. I talked about having that I run one-day full boot camps, right? It's called a Love Attraction Relationship Summit, where we go deep into what we want from a relationship and learn how we can find that and become the kind of partner that they would date. Now, I normally offer this to $497 people who purchase the ticket on their own. But again, it's Christmas time. I wanted to add a bonus. And anyone who joins the program, you get to come to this, to a full day event. If you've enjoyed the last 90 minutes that we've had together, the great thing about it is we go for 4, 5, 6 hours throughout the event. You get a whole day with that, and we can go deep, and I get to ask you a lot of questions, and it's a time for you to really immerse yourself and do some deeper work. So this is us getting the clarity, deeper clarity on who we are, what we want, and most people who've left this summit have found their relationship within about 2 months. So if you want to come along and you do some deeper work, come join the program. I'll invite you to the summit. You get your free ticket to that. So there's that. Again, quickly, let's share Mark. Mark came to me, was in a relationship already, but was probably at the end of his tether, was probably not going to continue on with it, was probably really considering maybe is it time to separate. He came and joined it, did the online program, actually did the work, got further clarity on who he was and what he was looking for. Worked deeply with me, joined higher, did one of my full-day programs. Went from really, like I said, almost to separation from his partner within less than 6 months to them getting engaged and doing their own ring ceremony. So now they're in the happiest place they've been in their relationship. So if you're in a relationship, again, this can also be something that's super helpful and positive for you on this journey for love as well. The great thing that Mark did was he came in, he committed himself, he followed the program, he got the results as well. Like I said, it's super simple. He learned all the stuff that you learn in this online program. Finally, here you go. Like I said, here's the benefits again. Understand yourself better, understand everyone around you better. You gain that clarity, which is super key on who you are, what you want from a relationship, learn to heal from the past, personal growth, and then learn how you can really attract the partner that you desire. Again, the features that we've talked about, the online training, there's well over 50 hours of trainings and coaching. There's new videos added every single week. It's a super easy to use online platform or mobile app, meaning you can watch it or listen to it on your way to work or wherever you're going. You just put some headphones in and you can listen to it or watch the video, right? You've got an online community of other gay men who are on that same journey. And again, there's a forum to ask unlimited questions so I can help you when you need the help. Like I said, I get back to most people within a couple of hours. And then again, there's one monthly Zoom call for you guys to jump on, ask your questions, do some more work. And then again, you get all those additional bonuses that I shared before, only for $97 a month. Fantastic offer that is only available for people who are joining from this webinar. Final bonus that I wanted to add on top as well is if you guys join over the next couple of days, I'm going to invite you to one of my live weekly group calls that are only there with my exclusive high-end VIP clients. Those guys are so highly committed to finding long-term love, it's not even funny. So if you want to be around people who are really committed to doing the work, join the program, and I'll invite you to one of my next group calls early in the new year. And you can come and see, what it's like for this session, but on steroids with guys who are playing at a higher level. If you want that higher level access, then this is probably the right thing for you. So that's that. Again, the link is in the chat screen. If you're wanting to join up, it's great. It's there for you as well. Here we go. Here's just a couple of frequently asked questions so that we can do that. And then I'm going to open up the floor for any Q&A. Number one is, when do I get access to the program? As soon as you sign up, you get immediate access. You can go on there, literally within seconds, and you can start watching the trainings and videos. Like I said, there's over 50 hours of trainings and videos already in there, more added every week, and you can watch them immediately on your phone or on your computer, whatever feels right for you. When are the monthly group calls? Great question. People often ask. If you're in EST time, then they're usually the second Tuesday of every month. If you're in a different time zone, like in Australia with me, that means it's the second Wednesday of the month, right? So think about second Tuesday if you're in the US or Canada, etc. But the second Wednesday if you're in Australia, etc. If you sign up and decide it's not for me, what happens? Great question. Like I said to you guys, if you go on there, you play around and realize maybe this isn't what I've been looking for, you just need to get in touch with me in 7 days and I'll cancel it and give you a full refund of your price. If you decide that, again, that you do it for a couple of months and you get the results, then you go, maybe I don't want to do it anymore. All you have to do is cancel online and then you no longer pay any more of those monthly $97, right? So super simple, super easy, right? So that's what you can do. Can I really start watching your content library immediately after signing up? It's another question I get asked. And as I said before, as soon as you sign up, you get access to the complete library on there. Super simple and easy. There's a little introduction to the platform for you guys, but it's super simple. You click on it, you can click on a video and start watching. It's so easy. And you've done it at any time that works for you. And then finally, I want in, but I don't have the $97 today. What do I do? Super easy. If you're someone who's super committed to doing that, just send me a message on Facebook or wherever that you see me on Instagram, whatever that you've come and found me from. Do that, and easy peasy, we'll work out something there. Because like I said, if you're in, I always find a way to help someone there. Like if you can work something out, the $97 price is for people who are coming from the webinar over the next few days. But if you're serious and you've got a date that you can get some money and you want to join up, just message me and I'll hold that prize for you as well. Like, again, it's up to you to reach out to me. I'm not going to reach out to everyone and offer that to you. But if you want in, you don't have the money today, you just reach out to me and we'll be done with that as well. Cool. Awesome. All right, guys, appreciate your time and value it. I know we're at the 90-minute mark. We're up to Q&A. So I'd love to get an opportunity to ask you guys any questions that you might have about either the program or any questions about the sign-up process or any questions about what we've covered today. So is anyone there that has a question that wants me to answer them for you, right? Put your hand up or type Q into the chat screen and let me answer anything that I can to support you. And I will allow yourself to unmute. No one there, Matthew, no questions. Oscar, no questions. No questions from you, Justin or Mark or John or Max or Frank. No questions about today. Does that mean that I've given you everything that you need? I've given you all the answers. I've given you a great presentation. Is that what that means? Put your hand up if that's what it means. I've given you so much value today that your mind is blown, that you don't have any questions. I've answered everything that you need answering on. You understand about the program. You understand about the 5 foundations. You understand about all those common misconceptions that gay men have about finding love. If that's you, then yeah, great, Justin. I can see you celebrating there. Matthew, I can see you smiling. I'm sure the other guys behind the scenes are feeling the same way. So again, if that's it, there's no questions. I just want to thank you and honor you for sharing the last 90 minutes with me. I love coming on here with a group of gay men who are really committed to finding long-term love, who are committed to making changes, who are committed to growing, who are committed to healing from shit in their past. Because the key thing that I can leave you with today is if I didn't do the work that I needed to do on the healing from the past, I wouldn't have the relationship that I have with my partner. He wouldn't have dated me. He was a healthy person. He was looking for someone who was healthy and looking for love on that same level. And I can see you nodding, Matthew, you get this. He wouldn't have been there for me. I wouldn't have had this relationship. So if you want to have a happy, if you want to have a healthy, if you want to have a loving relationship, honor yourself, do the work with yourself and build a beautiful, creative, loving relationship with yourself. You honor yourself. You owe yourself that, okay? You don't owe me that, you owe yourself that. Again, I've given you the tool, up to you to take it. No, there's no hard feelings of whatever way you go from today. If I never speak to you guys again because you don't want to go anywhere, I wish you absolutely the best. If you join the program and want to do the work, then I love and honor you and I'm excited to go on this journey with you. All right, guys, wishing everyone a fantastic rest of 2022. If you guys celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I'll catch all of you guys in the program that join up and the rest of you wishing you absolutely the best. Take care, guys. See you in 2022.